Hello friends, in the series on the income tax cases, today we will discuss a very important issue in which there was an issue before the Indore ITAT that whether some prior period expenses to the assessee can be allowed in an assessment year if the assessee is incurring the losses for both the current year and for the previous year for which the expenses relate by giving an affidavit that the assessee will reckon the period of carry forward of loss from the previous year and not from the current assessment year. This issue has been taken up by Indore ITAT in the case of Riddhi, Siddhi, Realty versus Income Tax Officer, and this case is reported in 127 ITR Tribunal, short notes 46, and the date of the judgment is 6th October 2025. The present case is very different. These type of facts are very unique. In the present case, the assessment year is 17-18. The assessee is into a real estate business. The assessee has claimed some expenses during the assessment year 17-18 which were related to the assessment year 16-17, and when the assessment proceedings were going on, the AO made addition for these expenses due to which the loss reduced, and at the same time the assessing officer also initiated the penalty under section 270A for underreporting of the income. When the matter came before the CIT appeal, it was the contention of the assessee that since the assessee was incurring loss for both the assessment years, that is assessment year 16-17 and 17-18, so it has neutral tax effect, so the expenses of the assessee should be allowed in the assessment year 17-18. But the department was apprehending on the issue that if the expenses of the assessment year 16-17 will be allowed in the assessment year 17-18, then the assessee will get the benefit of carry forward of losses from the assessment year 17-18 while it should be assessment year 16-17. Apart from that, there was no tax effect on the assessee at present. When the CIT appeal heard the matter, the CIT appeal was also of the view that the expenses should correlate with the revenue. Since the expenses are related to the assessment year 16-17, they should not be allowed to the assessee in the assessment year 17-18, because if they will be allowed, then there will be no fair representation of the financial statement. The CIT appeal was of the view that the contention of the assessee that the tax effect remains neutral cannot be accepted. The CIT appeal said that because of claiming expenses of the previous year in the current year, it could have incorrect adjustment which can distort the future tax calculations. So the CIT appeal upheld the disallowance of the assessing officer for the prior period expenses in the assessment year 17-18. When the tribunal heard the matter, the assessee filed an affidavit cum declaration before the Honorable Tribunal that the assessee will not carry forward this loss from the assessment year 17-18, but the period will be reckoned from the assessment year 16-17, meaning thereby that the assessee admitted that he will not carry forward this loss for one more assessment year. For this, the tribunal said that when the assessee is ready to give the affidavit, which has been given by the assessee before the tribunal allowed the appeal of the assessee with the condition that the assessee has to give this affidavit cum declaration before the assessing officer also, and at the same time directed the CPC to open the portal for 1 month for filing this declaration, so that this declaration is always available on the portal for the future reference, and hence allowed the appeal. Friends, this is a very welcome judgment by the tribunal because there was no immediate tax effect, and whatever the possible tax effect was there, that was taken care of by the ITAT direction of filing the affidavit cum declaration by the assessee to the assessing officer also and on the portal also. At the end of this video, once again I am repeating the name of the case. The name of the case is Riddhi Siddhi Realty versus Income Tax Officer, and this case is reported in 127 ITR Tribunal, short notes 46, and the date of the judgment is 6th October 2025. 25. Thank you, friends.